Citizen Live at 9, and it's time for Opinion Court. Please do get in touch with us with your views on our discussion. 22422, that is the SMS line. You could, of course, send us also your messages via social media at Citizen TV Kenya, at Citizen TV News, at Ann Kiguta, that's Ann with an E, and of course the respective Facebook pages. Let's start with our discussion, and let me welcome my guests. Daniel Manzo is seated across from me. He is the Member of Parliament for Makueni. Next to him, of course, is Professor Edward Kisiangani, who you're familiar with, our resident political analyst. Next to him, Mvita MP Abdul Swamad Nasir, and next to him, Mandera Senator, I believe, Bello Kero. I thank you all, gentlemen, for coming. I want to start with you, Manzo. You know, the country's still reeling from the Mpeketoni attack. We're yet to bury our dead. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of confusion. Where are we supposed to move from here? What should be the first steps we take now with all these feelings about the state of our country and the state of insecurity?
First of all is to create peace in the country and reconcile, you know, the parties who have been hurt in this. We've seen security agents have moved quickly, especially the KDF, and at least 5 people have been fallen. Therefore, that's a move, but it's a little sad of what happened in the Rift Valley today. You can see every Kenyan is complaining that security forces have taken a while to react. In Parliament now, in this budget, we've given enough money for security officers, and we are looking forward also to take care of them in terms of proper equipment, the proper guns, because some of them have interviewed some of them, and I've heard that at times they don't have equivalent powerful machines, they don't have proper protection gear, and I believe the Department of Police and all the security forces will protect our people sufficiently, because if they are not well protected, then they fear, including those attackers who are cattle riders. They are said to be very tough, and therefore I think we need to do that as a country so that we enable them to take care of us, and we want the country to reconcile. And I've seen some people have been taken to court. Section 62 of the Reconciliation Act, and where people can be charged with hate speech, first of all gives an opportunity for the parties who may have overstepped or may have talked in a manner that would have offended other people's feelings, that the two parties be reconciled, and if apologies can be tendered, so that the law doesn't see a situation whereby it doesn't give a chance to reconciliation. And I think that should be given an opportunity, because our country needs to move forward as one.
Prof, let me come to you on that, because we've previously seen people give these apologies when it comes to being charged with hate speech and incitement, and I dare say that it hasn't served as a deterrent up until now. That some may even feel that that relevant section of the law is not strong enough to, you know, act as a deterrent against hate speech. What are your thoughts on what Manzo has said?
I think no amount of legislation will improve security. No amount of punishment will improve security in this country. Looking at the legislative part, the legal part, will not help. What we really need to do is to go back to the people. It is the people who can deal with the problem. Legislation and the judicial applications always deal with the effect. They don't deal with the cause. And with due respect to what has already happened, I don't think that even if you jailed Moses Kuria or other people, you are not going to solve the problems of hate speech. What we need to do is, this hate speech, this insecurity we are having is emanating from certain things that have already been eating into the conscience of very many people in this country, but they have never been solved. We have had problems in 1992, 1997, 2007. People made recommendations. They said, let us do this, let us reconcile. I don't think the approach is to reconcile. Let us put in place a law that can deal with the problem, but they haven't done that. So my opinion is that let us go back to the cause. And for the purpose of what is happening in this country, I think the president needs to set up a team that can differentiate the different dimensions of this insecurity. We are under attack from outsiders, but we are also under attack from inside. I think the strategies to deal with the two dimensions shouldn't be the same. So these are things that we really need to deal with, and when we come out of it, I think it will be okay. And basically, you have seen what has happened in Baringo. You have also seen it happened in Bungoma, where people killed others. Up to now, nothing has been done. Nobody has been charged properly. And you have even had somebody kill, threatening a witness and then finally killing the witness in a criminal case. So what that means is that we need a different outlook, a fresh outlook at our security system, by also addressing the problems that make people make hate speech or participate in things that can destroy our sovereignty.
I'll come back to the question of legislation and include institutions, because we've seen a lot of institutional change through the constitution that was supposed to, I suppose, curb against some of these things. But Nasir, let me come to you, because you, I believe, were at the meeting of course legislators with the president today. We heard from him what he had to say, but what did you put on the table in terms of the quote-unquote injustices that Professor has alluded to, and the way in which they have been addressed?
Well, first, I wish, first of all, to actually make it understandable to every Kenyan out there. When the Mpeketoni massacre happened, within a period of about 13 to 14 hours after the attack had started quelling down, I went there and together with the area MP to give him that morale, and for those people as well to feel that Kenyans at large are with them. And I can assure you, and I wish this message as well to reach out to each and every person who is watching us right now and listening to us right now. It was very, very gruesome. It's something that you could actually believe that it is not someone who has a human heart that is capable of doing that. I have expressed not once, not twice, several times through use of the National Assembly. There's issues on record in the Hansard regarding the laxity of our security forces. This is not something that has just started today. What is actually happening and what we are seeing is things getting worse by the day. And we need to try and put a cap on it. And whether, whatever we say, whether we like it or not, the president and the person who is on the mantle, on the seat right now, is one Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And he is the president and he's the commander-in-chief of this country. We went to see him today, and we put in our issues very, very straightforward to him. And a number of members who were there, including myself, did express that we have total dissatisfaction with his whole security team and his whole organ, because it doesn't make sense to me how it takes 8 hours, a good 7 to 8 hours, for the security forces to actually be able to reach there. We have, a Navy base that is pretty near there. We have other bases, army bases that are pretty near there. I just do not understand how it took them 7 to 8 hours. And someone actually made a statement out of it that it should have been faster for someone to actually fly from the Middle East and get there by flight. It would have been easier and quicker. But these people, by the time I was leaving Mpeketoni, which was something close to about 5 o'clock in the evening the following day, there had been no trace. There was no one who had been known where they are, where they had gone to, had they disappeared within the crowd. The issue, and
forgive me if I may just advance what you're saying. What were your suggestions? Perhaps you could hold on a bit. What were your suggestions in particular regarding the grievances of the area? I was
it's not even the grievances of that particular area. It's the grievances of each and every person who is expecting and is experiencing these insecurities within the whole country. Is there something needs to be done regarding the security organs?
Security first, yes.
Yes.
Anything else?
He needs to change, first of all, those people who are in charge. We need to change the tactics and how we're dealing with these issues to do with security. And I personally expressed my sentiments as well to him, something that will be coming to the National Assembly, and I'm hoping that my friend here will be supporting me on this matter, whereby in the event, and this is something that already started, where an impeachment motion against one Olilenko has to be done.
Yeah. And that has begun in the House. Let me bring in Bilokero on this. And I want to go back to the question of institutions and whether or not they have a role, and whether law has a role in terms of dealing with quote-unquote historical injustices that Professor had alluded to. We have a new constitution. We have a land commission that is in place that's supposed to deal with land issues. We've had the TJRC, we've had the NCIC as well, the Cohesion on Integration and Commission. And it seems that in spite of these key officers with specific mandates to deal in particular with the issues that perhaps Mheshimiwa here did not want to mention, because we do know land is a major issue at the coast. We're taking one step forward in law, but two steps back in terms of whether or not it's actually doing anything on the ground. What would you attribute that to?
My own view is that for a long time now we have been shelving issues, moving them away from law, from institutions, to reconciliations, to communities, to conflicts. Like if you look at these areas of Baringo and Northeastern and Upper, those areas, it's always been reconciliation and peace talks. But I think ever since human beings have been created, people they are criminals in this world. And institutions, including religious institutions, every law that you can think of, from the religious laws to whatever laws we have today, deal with criminality. And I think one of the ways, in my view, really to address this issue is that the institutions that we have not been working as well as we really wanted. For example, when we had those reforms and we brought in all these institutions, the National Land Commission and the TJRC, and most of the institutions, you've seen what has happened. Either the reports are not out, if they're out, they have been shelved. If they have not been shelved, they have been selectively or not at all, applied. Then when you come to even the laws that deal with criminals, really, from corruption to these hate speeches and so forth, I mean, we rarely apply the law, particularly to those people who are in leadership, to those people who are influential in society, and the tendency, therefore, gradually in the society is that, this law is just meant for those chicken thieves and ordinary folks. And I think, in my view, really, if the law is applied, because look at the other countries in the world, look at the Western countries, look at countries in Asia, you break the law on traffic alone, you know you're not going to escape. Today in this country, you can, break any law you want, and at the end of the day, you have a pretty good chance that you probably not get charged, depending on who you are and so forth. So I think the institutions are there, but unfortunately, I think all those institutions that have been set up, this is why that whole process of healing that started in 2008 with the National Accord and all those, things that should have been done to some extent, many of them about land, and many of them setting up all those institutions that have been set up. I think really we haven't, in my view, applied those institutions as required, and that's one of the key challenges that we have.
Okay, we're going to take a break very shortly, but I want to ask one question, and I'm going to appeal for a one-worded answer, yes or no, and then we'll come back to your reasons for that. In light of the current security challenges that are facing the country, court has already put off 2 rallies. Should they cancel them all entirely up until a point when the political tensions have cooled? Yes or no? I'll start with you, Manzo, and come round.
No.
No. Professor?
They should not cancel.
No, I think it's high time that they do cancel them.
And you're from the court?
I am, and I'm actually one of the most loyal members in the House.
All right.
Yes, they should cancel.
All right. We'll discuss their reasons later, and how exactly do we fix our country. We'll be back after these messages.